The aim of the project is to improve progress in mathematics, particularly for pupils in Year 5 and Year 6, Year 7 and Year 8, so that those pupils who we might not have expected to reach high levels in mathematics will actually reach them.
One of the aspects of this particular project is to develop a new curriculum that's going to start in September 2014 and to begin to construct with teachers a progression across the years, from primary and into secondary years.
The single most impactful thing a head teacher can do to improve standards for pupils in a school is to get involved in leading inquiry-based, classroom-based research in school. It has more impact than the next most impactful things put together. Lesson study is a very well evidenced and developed example of precisely that.
Let's say you've got an issue in your classroom. It could be the children are struggling with division, with fractions, or concentration, focus. It gives teachers a framework to take time to step back, look at what isn't working, do some research on what is working out there, and have the confidence to try something different in their classroom.
When I compare it to other professional development initiatives, I know, first of all, it's very much focused on pupil learning.
When we are doing the lesson study, the first part of the process is the planning stage. We get together and we really focus on the key groups of pupils in our class. And we focus mainly on 3 case pupils, but we are thinking about the whole class when we're doing it. While we're doing that, we are predicting how each of those pupils is going to react to the way that we want to teach the lesson. And then when the lesson actually takes place, through the lesson study, you have teachers working with you that can observe the lesson, and they notice all sorts of things about your class that you would never notice usually.
The main benefit for my school being involved in lesson study is the impact it has on the quality of teaching and learning.
One of the effects of this project is to strengthen teachers' own understanding of mathematics, which will then help them to plan.
When you're sitting down with other people and you're really discussing, getting really in-depth into a topic, thinking about the real key issues of that topic, you come up with so many different ideas and so many different approaches, and you come up with fantastic lessons.
Being asked the questions by somebody else, which we need to be asked when we're planning the lessons and when we're reviewing them, evaluating them afterwards. For some reason, having somebody else ask that and it being part of a conversation, it helps to frame my thinking an awful lot better than if it's just something I'm aware that I need to be doing on my own.
I'm very impressed by the quality of those discussions and how they actually improve during the course of those lesson study cycles. I've never seen it before in any other kind of professional development, I must say.
It's such a valuable chance to sit back sometimes. If one of the other teachers is leading the lesson, you notice so much when you're observing or just working with specific children that you wouldn't if you were at the front delivering the lesson yourself.
Now that we've invested the time into thinking about these topics of division and fractions, we can now take that knowledge and we'll be able to use it again and again and again because we've learned so much about those topics.
From my experience, from experience from across the world, it is one of the most powerful ways of improving practice.
It's not something you have to grow for 5 years before you see the flowers bloom. You get quick wins after the first research lesson has been conducted.
The biggest impact on pupil learning is when you have teachers become learners of their own teaching. And from being immersed in that process, your teachers have moved to a different place in terms of what their understanding is of what makes a difference to learning in your classroom.
If we're going to kind of get used to the new expectations and the new content, we need to be collaborating as much as possible, which is often challenging, but through lesson study we've been able to do that more.
The lessons that I've taught through lesson studies have been some of the best lessons that I've taught, and I think if that was put through all schools, then in general teaching would get better across the board.
We want to build a sustainable future for education in Camden, where lesson study is embedded in every school to make a difference to children's learning.